whether you're a woman or a man, and if you're married and you're in a relationship, with your spouse, it's tough because you don't want to feel embarrassed in front of them. You don't want to
Yeah.
feel like, oh my God, like, what does he think of this? And is he thinking bad of me? Is he thinking that I'm getting too old or I'm getting too this? Because especially with women, we have those confidence issues because we're like, oh my God. And then you have all these young women available now, right? So you're just like,
Mm.
so you get nervous about that. And even for the men, like for them to feel confident thinking, okay, I can perform when I'm with my spouse and I'm not feeling like, oh my God, is she going to be like, oh, he can't perform, so I need another man or this or that? We're in it for the long runs. We're going to be there. So
Yeah.
all these things make a massive difference in a relationship. And it's
Oh, yeah.
something that we don't realize until we've lost it.
Hey, hey, beautiful people. It is Coach Jamila, and welcome back to another episode of Girl, Get Your Groove Back. If you're new here, I am a root cause wellness coach guiding women to sustainable health and alignment without the Band-Aid fixes. Around here, we talk about everything that helps you feel good in your body, confident in your own skin, and grounded in your spirit. Today's episode is called Girl, Get Tight, the secret to fewer bathroom trips and better bedroom moments. And we're diving into a topic that so many women and men don't like to talk about. It's all about the importance of pelvic health. My guest today is Zohra, and she is the founder of Serenity Focus, a company that's helping individuals strengthen their pelvic floor, sleep better, and feel more confident from the inside out. Have you ever laughed too hard and had to cross your legs? Or maybe you felt a little disconnected from your body, especially after having kids. If that is the case, then this conversation is for you. I encourage you to tune in, take some notes, and definitely check out Serenity Focus. Let's get into it. Hey, hey, y'all, and welcome to Girl, Get Your Groove Back. I am your host, Coach Jamila, and today I have an amazing guest with us, Zohra, and she is the owner of Serenity Focus. And I am so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much. I'm honored. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Jamila. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. I would love for you to share with the audience just a little bit about your journey. Why did you start Serenity Focus and a little bit about Serenity Focus?
Serenity Focus is a wellness center, and the biggest thing we worry about is pelvic health, which is something I feel like the majority of us have neglected. And it's something, we take care of our bodies on the outside. We like to look good. We like to look toned, work out, we eat healthy. We try to get all of that. But then when it comes to the inside, sometimes things are falling apart and we don't realize why. And it's not always to do with just certain exercise, certain things. And the exercises that we're told to do, especially for us ladies, and even for men as they get older, if they've got prostate issues and other things, they've told us to do, but they're kind of hard. And so we don't really do as much. And so we kind of neglect it. We think out of sight, out of mind. But as we get older, it starts to affect us tremendously. And that's what happened to me. So after giving birth to 6 babies and having 4 kids, one of the things that frustrated me so much was using the bathroom all the time, especially
Mm.
waking up in the middle of the night. I was like, my life used to not be like this. How come I have this issue? What is it? And I realized, obviously, having all these pregnancies, and I said, well, I'm sure I'm not the only one with this problem. A lot of other women have gone through it. There must be a solution because, if there's a problem, there's going to be a solution. So I started looking into it. And the first thing that came to me was the Kegels. And I was like, yeah, that's what my doctor told me to do. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
after like 20, I don't even know if I'm doing it right, if I'm not. I'm just like, trying to, figure something out where I can't figure it out. And so after 20, I kind of give up and I just go on with my day and I feel like it's going to just fix itself. And so I thought, okay, if I eat healthy, I exercise, I do all these other stuff the doctor said, that it's going to kind of fix itself. And I realized it wasn't fixing itself. So I started looking for solutions and I came across right immediately surgeries, all these different types of surgery. And I was like, oh, I really don't want to go through surgery. I don't want to go
Right.
because, with surgeries, you have pros and the cons. And sometimes I feel like the cons are worse than the pros. So I got really worried about that. And I said, I really don't want to go through that. What else can I do? And so Here, long and behold, I came across something called the Kegel chair. There's another one that they use a lot, and that's called the Amsela. It's the same thing as the Kegel chair, but it's a brand. So that when I came across it, I said, okay. I read all about it, did all my research, watched the videos. It's FDA approved. 95% people see results, and after 6 sessions, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. Then you just go and you sit on the chair, and you don't have to change or take your clothes up, and for 30 minutes, and it does over 11,000 Kegels on you. And I was like, whoa, 11,000. I could never
That's a
do that
lot.
on my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know I can't do that on my. And then I was like, okay, this is exciting. And this is about 5 years back. And then I was like, all right, so how much does it cost? Now you'll see the majority of these websites, they won't print out a price. They won't print out a price on it. They wanted you to come in for a consultation because they know if you really need it, you'll figure it out. And I said,
Yeah.
all right. So I went in for the consultation, and I found out it was $300 a session. And this was 5 years ago. And I was like, well, $300 a session, that's $1,800. I was a single
Yeah.
mom and working like part-time, homeschooling my kids. And I was like, it's a lot of money. I'm going to have to budget for that, really budget. So I told my
Yeah.
kids, we're going to have lots of vegetables this month. Tell me your favorite veggies. Okay. There's no meat. We're going to get protein from other sources. We're going to cut out all these things so I can save up to take care of my health. This is important to me.
Right.
I got to do this. And so I did that, and I saved up for the first 3 sessions. When I went to the first 3 sessions, after the third session, I was like, okay, I feel a difference. I see a difference. I'm not getting up as much. Yeah, I like this. I want
Mhm.
that the 3 sessions. I want 6 sessions. And then
Yeah.
so another month I saved up, whatever I could. And I borrowed a little bit the second time because I was like, I'll pay it by the third month. The kids didn't want to have budget from meat again. They're like, Mom, come on, seriously.
Right. I
So,
need some
uh,
meat.
yeah, I was like, there's protein is protein, okay? Whether you get it from beans or, broccoli, it's protein. They're like, yeah,
Right.
chicken sounds better. So
Right.
and I get to do this, and I went to do the 6 sessions, and I was like, this is amazing. It helped me out tremendously. I didn't have to wake up in the middle of the night again. Everything in my body started getting back. And I was like, wow, this is only 6 sessions. Like, what if I could do 8 sessions? And then they said, well, on a yearly basis, you have to do 3 sessions to maintain it. I was like, okay. And then I start telling my friends about it and my family, and they're like, oh, that's expensive. I can't afford that. I can't afford that. That's expensive. And I was like, well, yeah, it is kind of expensive. $1,800, this was 5 years ago. At today's time, it's anywhere from $2,400 to $3,000 for the 6 sessions. And
Wow.
so when I saw that, and I said, the average person won't be able to afford that. What can I do
Mhm.
to make a difference? Because it helped me so much, I became passionate about all these other women, moms, especially going through what we go through on a daily basis. But any woman, the elderly who have to use the bathroom all the time, men who've got prostrate, or men who have other issues with their health, especially as men get older as well, they have a hard time wanting to be intimate with their wives. They can't. And so now they're on
Yeah.
all these drugs. And if you can find a different way instead of these drugs, why not? Why not let it be a bit more natural?
Yeah.
Build that pelvic health. And so I decided I was going to invest in this expensive chair because it is an expensive chair. And my
Yes.
used to joke, they're like, how much is the chair? I was like, oh, don't ask. A brand new one costs more than $100,000. And I said,
Wow.
so I'll invest in this chair, and I'm going to change that narrative. I'm not going to make it that expensive. I'm going to do it where the average person can be able to afford it and not be where I had to be.
What do you think are some misconceptions that maybe women or even men have about pelvic health in general?
I think, one of the biggest misconceptions is thinking that it's going to fix itself. And especially if you had natural birth, it's just going to kind of go back and fix itself. Also, for those women who think that, okay, I had a C-section, I don't need it. The pressure that the baby has put on your bladder and your insides, that has a lot to do with your pelvic health, not just it being born through natural birth or not. So they said it's
Yeah.
even if you had a C-section, this is important for you. You need it. So I think that's the biggest misconception, that it's just going to fix itself. That, over time, things are going to go back because we're just not aware of what it takes to fix it and how much exercise it needs. Because once it's grown so much, you have to continue to exercise to bring it back down, just like any other muscle in your body. When you gain all this weight and you're coming back down, you have to do all these exercises to get back to removing the fat and getting to tone. It's going to require effort and time and consistency. And with the pelvic health, we just kind of ignore it. We just kind of think,
Mhm.
oh, it's gonna do its thing. It's gonna figure it
Yeah.
out, you know. Um,
Yeah.
or or the second misconception is we give ourselves excuses. Well, this is old age. This is life. This is how things go. So it's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm okay wearing a pad all the time. I'm okay because that's just how life is. My mom did it. My grandmother did it. Or this is just how old age is. So we just accept it instead of going, wait a second, I'm going to change the narrative. I'm not accepting this. That was what I said. I was like, I'm not accepting this. There's got to be a way to fix this.
That's right. That's a good one. Society has made a lot of people believe that because I get older, I'm naturally going to have all of these issues and
Yep.
it's normal. We need to stop normalizing these things. I love it. Change the narrative and really take care of the inside. Have you seen in your practice how this has perhaps changed people's confidence? Not only their confidence, but even their relationships?
Oh, absolutely. I want to read you a direct testimonial. So this way
Yeah.
you can what others have to say. All right. So Carmen came in for one session and she was 66 years old. She is 66 years old. Carmen is still with us. And she came
Yes.
in for one session. She tried it and she was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe, maybe not." But when she came in for that first session, she was talking with her friend and she wasn't really paying attention to focusing on her pelvic health and kind of like when you come into the wellness center, there's no technology. You can read a book or a magazine, just kind of be calm and be soothed and just be in the moment. Don't think about
Yeah.
anything else, just really allow it to work on you. If you're so busy at something else, no matter what you're doing, you'll never be able to focus on the things. Even if we're working out, right? If we're working out and we're like talking to our friends and we're trying to do bicep, we're not really focused on the bicep muscles. We're moving, but we're not focused. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with pelvic health. So I realized that day that the first time she came in, she was so chit chatty with her friend and having a good time. She wasn't paying attention to her public health. So she was like, I don't know if it's really going to help. So she kind of left it. A few months later, 6 months later, she's like, you know what? I'm going to really give this a try, Zohra. I was like, okay, no problem. So she came in, no friends, nobody else. I was like, okay, this is how we should do it twice a week for 3 weeks. And this is what Carmen said afterwards. She said, with doubts about the Kegel chair, I tested it once and I did not trust the system. Months went by and there was no solutions to my problem. When I walked too much, I had to change pads all day. Going to the bathroom more during the day was getting worse.
Mm.
I just could not hold it like I did when I was young. I told myself it was time to give the Kegel chair a serious chance. 2 months ago, I scheduled my first appointment. I completed 6 visits. Every time I go now, I'm dry. I even forget to wear pads. I feel more confident the longer I stay dry during the day. I recommend the Kegel chair to anyone with incontinence problems. It's worth it to try to avoid any surgeries and wearing of the pads or diapers all day. So,
Mm.
so this was Carmen. She came in.
Yeah.
Now, Tara's another sister, and she was younger. She was in her late 30s, and
Mhm.
she was, someone who was married and had a spouse. And she said, give it a try, 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it. After 3 treatments, I start to feel the muscles engaging during the treatment. And after the fourth treatment, my husband noticed a difference physically. I will be back for another 2 treatments and my maintenance a few times a year. It's well worth it. And God willing, I'll bring my mom and dad so they can enjoy going to the bathroom less.
Mm. Well,
So
all right.
So these are just some of the testimonials of people going, and these are real people. If anyone wants, I can give them contact information. You can talk to them because I think it's so important to tell the truth and to be honest about all of this.
Absolutely.
Honesty is everything. I tell people like, after 6 treatments, for the majority of people, it helps. Some people, it
Yeah.
does take 8 to 10 treatments, depending on how bad their pelvic health area is. Like anything else, it could
Yeah.
take a little bit longer. But just so you know.
Yeah. That's so good to know. Thank you for sharing those testimonials because it brings light to the power of exercising the pelvic floor. And again, I think a lot of people don't realize Kegels are important. So I tried the Kegel chair, y'all. I went to Serenity Focus and I don't think people realize that Kegels, ladies, I know y'all know what this is because we were all told to do this after we had babies. And we probably did it for like 2 days and then we were like, I forgot, or I don't feel like it. But I don't think we realize that Kegels also can help with moisture, with, like you said, helping it be more pleasurable when you're intimate with your partner. Sneezing. Sometimes I remember after I had my babies, I would sneeze and I'm like, oh my, what? Oh, oh goodness, you know? So
Mhm.
there's so many benefits to pelvic health and making sure that you take care of the inside, like you said, not just taking care of the outside, but really honing in on the inside. So I want us to come back to the benefits of the Kegel chair at Serenity Focus, because I really want the audience to understand a little bit more about pelvic health and some things that they can do for pelvic health. Now, I'll tell you, when I went to the Serenity Focus and I got on the chair, I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, so what's about to happen? And when it first started, I said, oh, I
Yep.
was like, what? Whoa. I thought it was going to be like an all over kind of like shifting chair, and that's not what it was. It specifically focuses on the pelvic area. It was really cool, a really cool experience. So I highly, highly encourage people to try that, especially if you want to strengthen that pelvic floor. Even men, I know this is Girl Get Your Groove Back, but brothers out there, if you have prostate issues, enlarged prostate, anything like that, this is beneficial. Do you have some feedback on perhaps what the pelvic does, why we need it, the importance of exercising the pelvic floor outside of some of the things that you already shared?
Yes, 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 I definitely do. So I have some different ways that you can actually do it without this because I feel like this is an expensive investment for your body and
Okay.
everybody can't afford it. So we're today we're going to give you everything we can that can teach you other ways to strengthen that pelvic area so that you can enjoy your life to the most. Okay. So number
Yeah.
one, obviously the Kegel exercises. Now with the Kegel, right? You when you're contracting your pelvic floor muscles, it's like the way the doctor said that it works the best is like when you're about to use the bathroom and you stop yourself. That's how you're actually making the Kegel work. So that's what's so important to be able to do it like that. So that's how you know. Now, how many of us actually are going to go to the bathroom and try to figure this out while we're sitting on the toilet? Like it's a tough one. But if you can do that, like okay, I'm about to go, but I'm going to stop. That's an actual Kegel. So and
Mm,
you want to do as many as that you can a day whenever you remember. Personally, for me, I'd say if that's the route you want to take, put it on your schedule. Put an alarm for yourself and say, okay, I'm going to do 5 minutes. You don't have to do all day, just 5 minutes a day and do your best. Maybe you'll start off with only 2 minutes, whatever you can, but just try your best. But if you put on alarm, you put on your schedule, you're more apt to do it. And I think that's important, right? And the doctors recommend doing this 10 to 15 times a day, doing it 2 to 3 sets a day. I'm going to say do as much as you can, put an alarm on. That's good enough. At least you start, get that cycle going. It's better than nothing, right?
right.
Second thing that can help you with your pelvic health, and you could do this at home, you could do it anywhere, but breathe deeply into your belly. Make sure that belly feels it, that belly. Deep, belly breathing, right? This strengthens your core and coordinates your diagram with your pelvic floor. So you inhale and you feel your belly and your pelvic area, and then you expand, right? Then you exhale gently and engage by lifting your pelvic area. So this is another really good one. Now there's a pelvic exercise you do on the floor when you go down and you're basically lifting your pelvic up and bringing it back down. And a lot of people do that with putting a little bit of weights on top of their hip area. And this really helps. You could put weights if you want. You could put your hands if you want. You can see this on YouTube, like pelvic floor exercising. Super simple. It's also good for your gluteus maximus. It's also good for your behind exercises, but it helps your pelvic get strengthened as well. It's free.
Yeah.
You can find this on YouTube. Easy. I think it's easy to do. Some people might find it hard, but I feel like, especially if you don't use weight, it's just a couple of times going up and down and just, moving that. I find that easier than the Kegels, to be honest with you. I don't know
Yeah.
about everyone else, but to me, that's an easier because I know exactly how to do that versus the Kegels. I'm like, what? I'm going to have to sit on the toilet and figure this one out. Right.
Right.
Another really good one is maintaining very good posture. Always keeping your posture firm, strong, and having yourself sitting up in an upright position. Again, this becomes very hard for a lot of us because we get comfortable. So we get to our computer table and we get comfortable on a computer chair or watching a movie, we get comfortable sitting in bed, we get comfortable. So it's not the norm. But if you can put it down on your schedule, like, okay, have good posture, sit straight up for like 3 minutes. Time yourself. and just
Yeah.
try to do anything you want to do in today's lessons. Put it on your schedule, put it on your phone, on an alarm, and time yourself. Even do 2 to 3 minutes. I'm not saying the whole day, just as much as you can, but be consistent, right?
Uh-huh.
Another one, and this is really good for all body exercises, but definitely stretching. Stretching. And there's a lot of different pelvic stretches you could do at home. I know there's physical therapists that show lots of pelvic stretches. You can find it on YouTube, I'm sure, but stretch your pelvic area as much as you can. And by watching the videos with the special therapist, it's going to be much easier to do it than trying to do it on your own. I highly. Last but not
Yeah.
least, is staying hydrated, making sure you're drinking lots of water and making sure you're not constipated. This is important. Constipation puts a lot of pressure on our pelvic health. And also, when you need to use the bathroom, make sure you get to go and don't hold yourself until the end. Always try to, relieve your bladder as fast as you can, if you can, unless you're, stuck in a car in traffic, something where you have no choice. But try to avoid putting that pressure on the pelvic area. So that and constipation, you want to try to avoid it as much as you can. So eat your vegetables, your fruits, and avoid being constipated, drink lots of water, just the normal other good stuff. That's about it. And I think that will help a lot of people.
I love that. And it just proves and goes to show the power of having a healthy lifestyle. Eating
Yes.
clean, eating whole foods, being mindful of your posture. You're right. So many of us forget about posture and we don't understand how it impacts the inside of our body. So I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm also curious. You mentioned not holding it.
Yes.
Don't hold it. We do that, especially if we're like in a rush or we have somewhere to go. How does that impact the pelvic floor when you're holding it either way, urine or bowel movements?
It just puts a lot of pressure. And when it puts all that pressure on it, it weakens it. And just like
Mhm.
when we're pregnant and the baby puts the pressure on us, right? It weakens it. And so
Yeah.
then you have to just work those muscles out again and you have to keep working it out. So like I said, emergency cases is different because we're stuck in the car and something all of a sudden. And I remember recently, there was an elderly man and he said, like, it was really sad. He said that they were driving and there was no rest stops and they were driving like a 6, 7 hour drive and he really had to use the bathroom. Like he had that eaten something somewhere and he had to go and he couldn't hold it in. He just went in the car and his wife was driving and she was just like, oh my goodness, what is happening? Like, no, 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 no. And she was just like, okay, we need to go get this fixed. That's the reality of it. If our pelvic health is not strong enough and he's in his 70s, like situations like this will be the norm to us, will be the
Yeah.
norm. And it's hard because you won't realize it unless you spend time with the elderly. So my mother, she's 85 years old and she lives
Yeah.
with me. And then it's my biggest blessing to have her with me. And
Yeah.
in the last 5 years, her living with me, I remember when I was going to get my pelvic health, I said, Mom, do you want to go? She was like, nope, I'm not spending that much money. And I was like,
Yeah.
Mom, you have a little bit of money you've saved up. What are you going to do with it? Just use it to take care of your body while you're here. Your kids don't need it. Nobody needs your money. So don't
Yeah.
save it for that. I said, and I'm going to help take care of you. Just, take care of yourself here. And she was like, nah, you go do it. And so after I did it and I went to, she was like, how is it? And I was like, oh, I love it. She still wasn't bought. She was like, no, I don't care. But
Yeah.
when I opened up Serenity Focus, she's like, all right, I'm going to sit on the chair now.
Uh-huh.
So, so and believe me, from the first time, so it made a massive difference because I'm the one that takes care of her. And I remember the one time we were going to the mosque to go pray and an emergency happened. And I was like, oh no. And I wasn't really ready for that emergency because I've never had it happen. So I
Yeah.
was ready for like extra pair of clothes and this. So I had to figure things out. And I was like, oh my God, somebody has to run to the store real quick. I got to do this. I got to do that. So it really changed my perspective on the elderly and seeing that, oh my God, this is a necessity for them. It's not a want, it's a need. There's
Yeah.
a want when we want an iPhone, and it's a need when we just need a phone that works so we can get across to our, loved one. Big
Yeah.
difference. This became a need. And I said, it has to be something. So just like with this elderly man, after they had this incident, then for him, it was like, okay, I got to get some help because
Yeah.
his wife was like, I'm not cleaning this up all the time like this. It's not fair to me. Like, we have to, because she had to do it at the end of the day. She had to clean it up. She had to help him. And she was like, I don't want to do it if I don't have to. It's one thing if you have to, but
Right.
like, if we can get help, I'm going to get help. She's like,
That's right. And that brings up a point. I think it's so important when we are in relationships to not be a burden.
yes,
If it happens, I'm not saying don't take care of your people, but if
absolutely.
you can prevent it and it is
Yeah,
preventative and you can take care of yourself and you are being proactive, how much better is that for your partner
right.
versus waiting until your body is screaming at you, it's deteriorating, and now it's on your partner to really take care of you.
Yes,
That's just not fair, I don't think. So
absolutely.
if we can be proactive or we start seeing things like you said, I had a client who had to plan out his trips
Right.
for bathroom breaks because he
Yes,
knew that if I'm driving too long, I'm gonna have to stop and go to the bathroom.
right.
But that becomes that was his norm. Like, well,
Yes,
the norm now is I'm gonna make plans on, okay, here's a rest break or here's a restaurant I can stop at when I'm traveling. What fun is that to have to worry about that? So yeah, I think it's important for us to understand the power of the pelvic floor, understand what it's doing for us and what happens when we're not taking care of it so that we
yes.
will be inclined to exercise that part of our body. It's
I
important.
agree. I traveled a lot for lectures. So when I would give lectures and give talks, I would have to travel long distances on 14-hour flights. And one thing I hate is going to the bathrooms in the airplane. I really hate it. The
Mm,
airports are fine, but the
yeah,
airplanes, the beginning you might get in, if you get in right away, it's fine. But over 14 hours, it smells, and sometimes people pee on the floors. And it's just not that nice. It is not nice. And I'm not trying to say anything against the airlines. I love the planes. Thank you for having airplanes and all that. I'm not again, but I'm saying I try to avoid it because I don't want to get my clothes dirty. I want to get my shoes dirty. It's like,
yeah,
you're kind of walking in tiptoed and trying to figure out what to clean. What should you clean before you use it? Because it's just like, you just want to stay clean. I'm a clean person. I like to be clean. And
right.
so for me, this helped tremendously. Like, I would go at the airport one time, and if I'm on an 18-hour flight, I'd like, all right, I'm gonna go one time, and it's gonna, I'm trying to plan it out and then even if I drink water, because you need to be hydrated on the plane as well,
Yeah,
you just drink. So I literally probably go only one time on that entire flight. And so it was so amazing because it made me feel confident going, and I wasn't holding it in. That was a difference.
yeah,
Before I did, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Now
yes,
I don't need to do that. But
yeah,
it's just the idea of, like you said, being confident, feeling like you're not stressed. You don't want to plan around your trips. You don't, whether you're a woman or a man. And if you're married and you're in a relationship, with your spouse, it's tough because you don't want to feel embarrassed in front of them. You don't want to
yeah,
feel like, oh my God, like, what does he think of this? Is he thinking bad of me? Is he thinking that I'm getting too old or I'm getting too this? Because especially with women, we have those confidence issues because we're like, oh my God. And then you have all these young women available now, right? So you're just like,
mm,
"Ugh." So you get nervous about that. And even for the men, like for them to feel confident thinking, okay, I can perform when I'm with my spouse and I'm not feeling like, oh my God, is she going to be like, oh, he can't perform, so I need another man or this or that. We're in it for the long runs. We're going to be there. So
yeah,
all of these things make a massive difference in a relationship. And it's
oh yeah,
something that we don't realize until we've lost it. It's like, I hate to say this, but okay,
ooh,
so you have a situation of like, someone who's overweight, and it's a
yeah,
choice of being overweight, not one who had health problems. There's a difference, right? So let's say
right,
this individual is just like, I don't care what I eat, I'm fine, I accept myself who I am, which is fine, that's their right. I'm not saying anything against them, but let's
yeah,
say their partner isn't fine with it, they don't like it, and over time they've said, hey, listen, you know what, it's not good for you, it's being unhealthy, and they've noticed the health deteriorating, and they don't want to stay through it, they don't want to be in that relationship because their health is affecting their health. They're like, well, now I'm eating junk food and I'm eating this. So now it's affecting them. So they're like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. So they
yeah,
go up and they break up and they walk away from that relationship. Now, that person who was overweight, who chose that lifestyle, not again due to health reasons, but because it was a choice. Now they're angry and upset because that person left them. So what do? Revenge. So then now they're working out, they're eating healthy, and now like 6 months later they look gorgeous. Why not look gorgeous for the partner you had?
Right.
Why does it have to take a breakup or something so difficult for us to realize it, that we're going to then change everything, change our
Yeah,
habits? We get revenge, and it's like, well, we don't need to have revenge. We should do it because it's good for us before that situation happens.
that's
So,
right.
I mean, not that he should have left her or she should have left him because of that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, when I'm playing devil's advocates, this person's coming telling me, well, it was affecting my life tremendously. And I didn't want to go through that emotionally. I didn't want to go through physically. I was sick and tired of it. That's why I didn't want to be in that relationship. So a lot of times we have to be in this person's situation that we have gone so bad that that's when we wake up. But you don't want to do that with your pelvic health. You want to take care of it beforehand so you don't go through something like that and you've fallen down so, but not that you're like, you know what? Now I'm going to do it. Now I'm going to go invest in my pelvic health. It's like,
Yeah.
no, invest now. Don't
Do
wait
it
or it's too bad.
now.
Too late.
That's right. I'm like all about being proactive, not reactive. Like, oh, I'm going
Yes.
to wait until the last minute. I don't think people understand the importance of being proactive with your health. Like you said, it's like, oh, well, now since we broke up, because I've seen that like in relationships, people are like going hardcore for themselves.
Right.
And then the other person is looking at them like, really? Oh, that now you're gonna do that? But side note, you should do it for yourself first.
Yes.
You should do
Yes.
it for yourself first. But people need to be proactive when it comes to their health, when it comes to their pelvic health, because like you said, why wait until you're waking up and you went to the bathroom in the bed and
Right.
you're like, oh my gosh. Or God forbid you're married and your spouse is in the bed with you and you're trying to
Yeah.
hurry up and cover it up, or you're making plans because you want to go on a road trip, but you're struggling because you know you're gonna have to go to the bathroom, or you're not getting moist anymore, or you're not able to perform like you could. There are so many connections. Like, yes, hormones do play a part in that also,
Yes.
but if you can really hone in on that pelvic health and be proactive about it, why not? Like, that's the question. So I totally agree with you. I'm curious too, have you ever seen or heard from any of your clients who come in that stress has really impacted their pelvic floor health?
Yes, absolutely. Stress has a lot to do with it, especially because when they're not keeping hydrated a lot of times due to stress, or they're overhydrated and they don't use the restroom right away because they're just stressed. They're just, when you're in a different time zone and there's so many things on your mind or so many things happening and you have no control or you don't know how to handle it. So that does affect your, pelvic health, not just your pelvic health, but your overall health inside. So we think, okay,
Yeah.
again, stress may make us look old and bring in the wrinkles or the gray hairs, or, make us gain a little bit of weight. But inside, internally, stress is breaking you apart as well. It's really doing damage. So you have to, as a human being, take care of yourself. And you have to not let things stress you out. Things are as they are. As a Muslim, we say, God never gives you more than you can handle. So
Yeah.
when the moment of stress comes in, you think, you know what? God knows I can handle this. So I'm going to handle it. That, he would never give me more than I can handle. And so you kind of connect the dots because you have to have something to get you out of that stress phase. You have to have something. This year I had my best friend from high school, and we won't even mention how old I am, but from high school, she had one son, her only child. He graduated university last year from University of California, Irvine, turned 23 years old. He was super excited to start life. 2 weeks after graduation, he had cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer. And this year, after the month of Ramadan, he passed away. He
Oh,
passed away. And it was her only child, and for any parent, losing your child is difficult. It is not an easy. But to have only one child and that be your golden child, a child who listens to you and who obeys you and who is loving to you and who respects you, like it is
wow.
rare. If we have 5 children, we may have one that might have some qualities. But to have all those qualities in one child, as a parent, you're like, this is like heaven on earth, right? Because
Yeah.
it's rare. It's rare to have such a good kid and then to lose him. It's like,
Yeah.
boom. it's gonna
Yeah.
hit very hard because that's all she was living for. Her husband, their whole life was their kid. And they so excited for him to start his journey and get married and have his family grow and to have grandkids and to have none of to and so being thrown into this, it was a very hard test for them. But again, it comes down to it, how to relieve that anxiety and the depression, the stress, was that, you know what, there's a bigger plan in motion, and God never gives us more than we can handle. He knew this, and we just have to be able to accept it and move on, and know that, for those who believe, and for those who believe in the hereafter, we'll be together in the hereafter. It's not about just YOLO this life. It's about there's another life, and we'll be together in that life. And, just we have to get through this life, and we got to be strong.
Yeah.
And what is the lesson? Because there's a lesson in everything that happens to us, right, Jamila?
Oh,
Everything
yeah.
that happens, there's a lesson. And taking out, as anyone who's out there who's being stressed and going through a difficult time or a trauma or, a life changing moment in your life, think, what is it that I'm supposed to learn from it? And what can I teach others? How can I
Yeah.
share? How can I help? So get some benefit out of it, get a lesson, and then go out there and help as many people. And you will see it will relieve your stress. It will
Yeah.
calm you down, and you will be in a better place. And you will not impact your insides and your pelvic health while you're there. Because we want to
Yeah.
keep safe and whole and, relaxed. Ultimately, we need to. And us women, we are known to not be relaxed. We are known to,
Yeah.
because we're like, but we do have to take in that deep breath, and we do have to calm down, and we do have to, take time in for ourselves and say, okay, I got this.
Yes. And like when you say calm down, really calm down the nervous system. Like that nervous system regulation is so, so important. I'm so sorry to hear that about your friend.
Oh,
That
yes.
is unimaginable for a mother, for any parent.
Yes.
And you're right. God doesn't give us any more than we can bear, than we can handle. And that's something that I believe there's a time to grieve. And then there's a
Yes.
time to, I got to get back up. I got to keep going. You have
Yes.
to be very mindful because there's been studies. I just
Right.
saw a study. I don't know the exact statistics, but people have literally died from a broken heart. Like their body
Yes.
has literally
Yep.
changed from
Absolutely.
a broken heart. And
Right.
so to your point, that stress, grief, loss, all those things that happen in everybody's lives, eventually we really have to trust that there's not more than we can handle, and
Right.
we gotta get through it. That's easier said than done, I know that.
Oh,
So yeah, but nervous system regulation, I would encourage each of you, like breath work, doing deep
yes.
breathing, prayer is so, so
Yes.
important. Meditation, take care of yourself and spend time doing those things. That self-care is
Yes.
so, so important. If there was just one thing, I know we talked about several different things, but if there was just one action that the listeners could do today to improve their pelvic health and be proactive, what's that one thing you would recommend?
Oh, I love this because you just said it. I would say prayer, 100% prayer. Prayer heals everything. Prayer
Mhm.
makes miracles happen, and honestly, just like you said, sitting down and talking to God and saying, I leave all of my anxieties, my difficulties, my tests to you, and I need your help. Guide me, show me,
Yeah,
and help me figure it out. Help me do what you want me to do. And really, going back and connecting, because I feel like when you take the burdens off your shoulder and you give it to God, because God, there's no burden great for God, right? There's just he can handle it all. We know that. And by
right.
removing it from yourself, physically saying, you know what, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to let God worry about it, and I'm going to put my trust in Him and just pray and ask Him, show you the way, help you, get that direction, and just connect. I think prayer is something we've lost a lot of contact with. And I think a lot of people think, okay, maybe like for us Muslims, we go Friday to the mosque. For the Christians, it's Sunday to the church. For the Jews, it's Saturday to the synagogue, right? I think
Mm.
beyond going to the houses of worship, you can pray anytime. Where you're
That's
in the car, you can talk to God. You're cooking, you can talk to God. Just don't do it in the bathroom. But any other place, you can, talk to God and sit down and connect and ask for whatever you need help with. And I think that is the most powerful tool we have as human beings. And we don't use it enough because sometimes you're somewhere and, when we're alone and we're really by ourselves, we're like, God, I need your help. But we need his help all the time. So ask all
right.
the time. Don't wait until you're alone and in some place by yourself and you think no one can hear you. All the time have that communication. And I honestly think, and that was my thing, I'll be honest with you, I was always praying, saying, God, I help me. I don't know what to do and
Yeah.
I can't stand this. Help me. And help comes from different ways, whether that's an ad on Instagram, or maybe something you see on a billboard, or like, oh, okay, what is that? Those are the signs. God's giving you a sign, and then you go from there and you see where it goes. But ask him for help always and continue to pray. Never let your prayers go. I think that's the best gift we all have.
I love it. Bible says pray without ceasing. And
Yes.
so that's one thing that's a great reminder. Like, you don't have to be at the church or the synagogue or the
Yes.
mosque to pray. You pray at all times. I'm always, when I'm thinking and I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, okay, Lord, direct my steps, order my steps. So I
Yes.
think that's so powerful because it does give you like this peace that doesn't make any sense sometimes. It's just like, there is catastrophe going on around me, but I have a sense of peace, and that's because of prayer. I truly believe that. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, Zora, where can people find you? How can we get in touch with you? Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Well, so this is Serenity Focus. This is our brochure, but it kind of gives you the logo and where we at. But we are actually in Plano, Texas. So we are in Plano, Texas, and our address is 2000 North Central Expressway, Suite 214. And that's Plano, Texas, 75074. Do have a phone number as well. If in case you want to contact us, ask any questions, you're more than welcome to. 469-275-6722. And we are open by appointments only at the moment, just because I've got an assistant that works with me back and forth. And like I said, I have my 85-year-old mom that lives with me. So I kind of go around her schedule, but we do go into the office by appointments only. But you can call us, ask any questions you have. You can come to the office. We're there usually Mondays and Wednesday afternoons, sometimes Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So we take different shifts depending on how many clientele we have. And yeah, we'll definitely be there. If you'd like to come and see the office and get a tour, you're more than welcome to. But we are in Plano, Texas. It's not too far for a lot of people in the sense of the Dallas area. With our competition for the Kegel chair, it's anywhere from 2,400 to 3,000. As we focus on my wellness being, we have it at 1,800. We're going to cut the cost compared to theirs to almost half. If they're doing 3,000, we're at 1,800. So they are charging more. So if it has to be a drive of 30 minutes, I think it's still going to be worth it. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we have a special for anyone who's listening on your podcast today to make that even better, to cut it from even that 1,800 to make it $1,200 for all
Wow.
6 sessions. Instead of 2,400 to 3,000, anyone who's listening to your podcast will get this great deal, because I do believe in everyone getting a deal. I do believe everyone should be able to afford it. But it's amazing. You just come, you sit on the chair, you do 2 sessions a week for 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, your body is restored so much. It feels
Yeah.
amazing. You feel confident. You're no longer, for a lot of those women who I know, when you're sneezing, you're laughing, you're jumping, you're trying to be on the trampoline and you're leaking, you won't have these same issues. That's what's
Yeah.
amazing. And the plus bonus side for all of us women who are listening, and for any men who are listening, is that when you're intimate with your spouse, you're going to have a whole different ballgame there as well. Your spouse will be happier. And as we age, we get older, whether you're a man or a female, things start to slow down. Things
Yeah.
start to dry out. And you just kind of need to get, like, as you said, get tight, get back into the groove, right? Get back
That's right.
into it.
That's right. And just as a reminder, y'all, the Kegel chair does 11,000 plus Kegels in 30 minutes. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
Okay. That's crazy, because try to do that at home in one day. Like you can't. There's no way you're going to be able to do 11,000. Definitely check out Serenity Focus, contact Zohra. I will make sure I leave the information as well. If you're not in the Dallas Fort Worth area, remember to engage in those pelvic floor exercises, bridges, like she was talking about, good
Yes.
posture. Go to the bathroom, y'all. Don't hold it. Don't hold it unless you just are in a place and you can't release at the time. But go to the bathroom, and remember all those tips that she shared with us. One other thing I was talking to, shout out to Dr. Satcher, and she was talking about pelvic floor health, and she said hula hooping is great
Mhm,
for the
mhm,
pelvic
mhm.
floor and
Wow.
Zumba.
Oh, oh.
So,
Zumba is gonna require me to have so much energy. For sure.
so just side note, if y'all have a hula hoop or a weighted hula hoop, get into it and you can
Mm.
get some pelvic floor movement going on with that. So before we close, I want to do some fun. I call it groove check. And it's just like rapid fire questions. You'll have like 15 to 30 seconds to answer depending on the question. So are you ready?
Yes,
Okay. What would you say is one food or drink that instantly boosts your mood?
avocados.
Me too. Oh my gosh. It's my favorite. I'll eat it with anything. Try it with some
Yes.
balsamic vinegar. Have you done it with balsamic vinegar?
No. No, 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 no.
So
Okay, I'm
good.
gonna try that.
It's so good. Okay, we're here, Zora. I love avocados. Okay. What's one thing that you wish women talked about more openly?
I think after having lots of kids, being open about your private life as like your intimate life and being able to express, if you have difficulties there instead of it being something taboo. Now, I'm not talking about tell us what you guys are doing. We don't need to know all that. We don't need to know the details. Just the fact that if there's difficulties or there's issues, and I know even amongst our cultures, sometimes it's taboo to discuss it. Like, no, no, hush, hush, don't say nothing. Everything's fine behind closed doors. But unless we discuss any kind of difficulties we have, we'll never find a solution to the problem. So removing some of the taboo things and being able to be open to be able to speaking to our friends, our mothers, our parents, and discussing, saying, okay, I have this issue. Do you think you might have had it or someone you know? And how can I fix it? And removing, the taboo stuff. And I think especially the older ladies, they never discuss the stuff. So I was never aware of it. And I was like, whoa. And now I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on. I'm starting to understand this.
Yes, that's a good one. I know I said only 15 to 30 seconds, but that's a really good one. I just want to pause on that for just a second because I think we talked about this offline, like in society, women, so many women in our culture, and especially if you're like a believer or you're Muslim or you're Jewish, you cannot talk about it. This is only for inside the house, and it's over sexualized. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And
Right.
because it's over
Right.
sexualized, it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, or it's so embarrassing. So I think it is so important for us to, if we're adults, talk to our mothers, talk to our
Yes.
aunts, talk to
Mhm.
the healthcare practitioners. Don't be ashamed or you're gonna suffer in silence. So
Yes.
that's a really good one. That's a really good one. I'm with you. Y'all, let's talk about it. Let's have the conversation. So okay. What would you say is one word that describes your groove right now in this season of your life?
Not just this season, I'd say every season, my one word would be Alhamdulillah. And Alhamdulillah means all praise and thanks belongs to Allah. In every situation, all praise and thanks belongs to God Almighty. In every situation, whether it's, a test that's been given or a great moment, because sometimes it's through the test that we become stronger and we become better and we learn and we grow. And sometimes you're happy, so you're always going to be grateful. So being grateful to God, I think that is my groove all the time.
Yes, yes. Grateful. Being grateful just in general is so important. I think it changes the whole perspective of your day. If you're feeling like, oh, today's going to be such a bad day, oh my God, or this month, or it's just been so terrible, but really honing in on gratitude. And yes, all praises to God for sure. Love it. So the last one I have for you is a wellness myth that you want to bust once and for all. What would you say that is?
A wellness myth I want to bust. I think, just ignoring your insides. I really do. Like your inside health. I think that's a myth. Like people just feeling like it's just gonna, cure itself. Like we'd mentioned, I
Yeah.
think that's a myth. Like going, okay, whatever you have, it's not gonna cure itself by itself. Like whether it's, any kind of disease or whether it's diabetes or anything that's gonna come to you, be like what you said earlier, be proactive. The moment you think, okay, I have something going on, or even before, if you know your mother had it, your father had it, your uncle and grandfather, be proactive and start thinking, okay, what if I got diabetes? How can I prevent it? Preventive care is way
Yes.
better than actually trying to get the cure. So preventive
That's
care,
right.
I think really going in and going, let's prevent things from happening instead of waiting for it to happen, then trying to look for the cure. I think
That's
that's,
right.
people wait for a cure. They're waiting for cures. And I'm like, nah, let's not even make it happen.
Yeah. It's like, it's never gonna happen to me type of mentality.
Yeah.
It'll never happen to me.
Mm,
Or I'm too young, I'm
yes.
living life. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden stuff starts to hit people. And that's what we want to prevent.
Right.
So y'all be proactive, take care of your insides just as much as you want to take care of the outside. Zora, thank you so, so much for being on Girl, Get Your Groove Back on this episode of Girl Get Tight. I'm so honored to have had you on, and I know that our listeners will get a lot. Again, y'all make sure you visit Serenity Focus if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Reach out to Zora. So until next time, thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me, Jamila. And it was an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, of course. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Zora, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing all the things about pelvic health, as well as talking about your amazing organization, Serenity Focus. I love how you reminded us that taking care of the inside is just as important as taking care of the outside. If today's episode resonated with you, maybe you're taking too many bathroom trips at night. Maybe you're avoiding drinking water because you're afraid that it's going to cause you to go to the bathroom even more. Or maybe you just want to feel more connected with your body. Perhaps you want to have more intimate moments with your spouse or your partner. If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, definitely check out Serenity Focus. The website is serenity-focus.com. And there you can learn more, schedule an appointment, and reach out to Zora. If you would like to learn more about my coaching programs and resources, make sure you check out www.coachjamilaoni.com. That's Coach, JAMILAONI.com. And I would love to guide you and help you get your groove back. And as always, if this episode resonated with you in any way, make sure you share it with a friend. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, I hope y'all have an amazing day and get that pelvic floor right. To good health, Coach Jamila, out.